Heavy spoiler warning for Tunic, seriously, go play this game now. Tunic sells itself as a modern, isometric 2.5D Zelda-like, and all the pieces of a fantastic Zelda game are here in bright, cheery colours, with whimsically grotesque monsters roaming the lands, and a high-spirit, adventurous track blowing the wind into your sails to keep exploring. But that's just all part of the brilliant illusion that Tunic tries to plant in your mind. But I think I'll keep talking about that facade for now. As I've mentioned in my Death's Door review, isometric level design can be a blessing and a curse. Still, Death's Door's major problem was its lack of a map. Tunic's map is wonderfully nestled in its in-game manual, more on that in a minute, so it's left with just the blessings, and this type of level design just can't be achieved in any other genre. Tunic makes sure that the secrets are hidden from the player and not the main character, making full use of the fixed camera, but there's always little hints of where to look. You might notice that those cliffs don't look like they're touching, and hidden in the crevice is a chest. Tunic has a fantastic way of prodding you to search its numerous cracks and crannies. One of the main collectibles of Tunic is the pages of a mystic manual that masquerades the myriad mysteries of Tunic behind a cryptic cipher, and I've got to say, it's lost on me. I'm definitely too young for this to cause any kind of nostalgic wave to wash over me. I grew up in the age of internet guides, and that's where I turned when the manual was getting a little too opaque for me. Maybe I'm not trained in this ancient art form of decoding, but I imagine that localization teams wrote the SNES and PlayStation 1 manuals in English. Don't get me wrong, this is a unique and excellent piece of gaming history, and an impressive piece of lore to this world, and I'm glad that this will awaken something nostalgic in so many people, but unfortunately, it's just an impractical barrier for me. While the manual of Tunic may be unclear at times, it never affected my progression. Tunic was very clear to hammer in the name of where I had to go, and finding it, while not simple, only required fundamental problem solving and brief consultation of the manual. Less clear were the upgrades, which by no means should be optional in a game that ramps up the difficulty at such an expedient rate. Hence, I wish something so vital to victory wasn't locked behind a riddle, even if in hindsight it was a relatively easy one. Tunic's art style is delightfully sportive. It's got the doll-like aesthetic of the Link's Awakening remake. What was so compelling about that art style and this one is how it conveys a small fish in a big new pond. Both games start with the protagonist washing up on a foreign shore without a weapon. The camera is pulled back, making your character a speck, the focal speck, but a speck all the same. While the concept of a small child lost in a big scary world has been done to death in video games, Tunic and Link's Awakening put it in a more playful light than Inside and Little Nightmares. Its smooth but strong colour palette eases players into the pleasant world vibe and comfortably nestles into that cozy spot. For a good while, Tunic has successfully lulled you into a false sense of security. The atmosphere is by no means happy-go-lucky, but it's cheerful. Even the dungeons have a magical glow to them. Then you enter the Quarry, a radioactive OSHA violation waiting to happen. The enemies wear gas masks and hold real weapons like guns. It's disturbingly real, and nothing in the game has prepared you for it. The Quarry is an awful place, where countless have perished. As you journey deeper, you find its purpose is to harvest living spirits, to create the technology you've interacted with so many times throughout your journey. Once you've completed the Quarry and obtained what should be the final key, you return to fulfill your objective. And that's where the Zelda influence truly begins. As was done in A Link to the Past, once the three MacGuffins are gathered, the world inverts itself to a cold, decrepit darkness. The purple moon shines upon the grassy fields as a sickness envelops the world around you, the energetic chimes now replaced by a moody, mystic peace. This stark reversal of tone is when I knew this game was incredible, and took its place as my current game of the year. Unlike A Link to the Past, where you already knew there was something more coming, as it was Zelda, there was going to be more than 3 dungeons, Tunic comes out of nowhere with its second half. Just when I thought I'd seen everything the world had to offer, it added a literal new dimension to everything I thought I knew. I wanted to go back and do everything again, because this game does the Dark World twist better than A Link to the Past. After all, it happens at the end of the second act rather than the first, so I'm far more familiar with the world, and I'm ecstatic to see all the sinister perversions I unknowingly released on the planet. Tunic is one of the best indie games I've ever played, and its world is a massive part of that. A cheery, colourful kingdom for a little fox to explore sounds like a gentle way to relax and unwind after exhaustive AAA boss battling. It maintains its facade for such a long time, and then whams me with a twist I would have never seen coming, tossing me into a morbid inversion of everything I thought I knew about this game. While the runic manual may have been a bit too mystical for my liking, Tunic successfully evokes, but doesn't manage to eclipse A Link to the Past. Tunic is an undeniably beautiful world that never failed to entertain or surprise me.